Alright, and
Hi.
we're back.
Yeah.
Alright, man. We've had some fun moments today because we're just trying to get the group together so we can actually record, and that's been a bit more of a struggle than I expected. So let's get going though. We're here, we're gonna finish up Carl's route, even if it kills the last three of us that are in this party.
Uh,
Oh no, it's already claimed Matt. Matt, are you still alive?
Eh, somewhat.
Alright, So, we've been here the whole time. I gasp heavily, leaning on Carl as we make our way up the road toward the mansion.
Look, that way. I think it all happened in my house.
I look around me in the darkness of the night. While the surreal feeling of dreaming is gone, I still feel like I'm in some kind of nightmare. Carl tried his phone the second we realized we were back, but it was dead. Here outside, no one is around, though we did see a few bodies in the middle of the road.
What the hell is happening? I think everyone's gone crazy.
Carl seems to be mostly talking to himself. I remember seeing Janice running through the street just before everything went to shit, and I'm inclined to think he's right. Should we maybe go back to Leo's place instead?
I I don't know. I kind of want to find Raven and Jenna. Break them out of this first.
I mean, she's still got that knife.
what do you have? A knife! No!
Yeah, actually, that's one of my favorite things from a review of Echo. I think it's Nice Kate's review, where that's his meme that he put up there of just like Jenna. What do you have? A knife! No!
Maybe she's calmed down. Then we can tell them and snap them out of it.
Well, you'd think the others would come and find us or something. The fact that they haven't. Carl grunts in acknowledgement, but doesn't say anything more. Meanwhile, the mansion looms ominously in front of us, and there's no sign of Raven or Jenna in front. There's the tree where we saw the body hanging, thankfully empty. I vaguely wonder if the newspaper clipping that the corpse ate is still there somehow. As Carl half drags me into the driveway, he hesitates.
Listen, maybe you should wait out here. I'll wake up the others up. Then I'll grab the keys and we can drive out to Peyton. Get away from all this.
I laugh despite myself. Yeah, right. After everything we've been through? Besides, I saved your ass when John went after you. I might have to do it again. Carl smirks.
Yeah, alright. He comes at us, I want you getting the hell out of here. Get in your car and get to Peyton.
In hindsight, maybe we should have gotten my car from the hotel and left that way instead. Carl shrugs.
I would have come here anyway. I'm more worried about Raven right now.
We're on the steps now, and Carl listens intently, his long ears poking up. It's dead silent. My heart rate starts to pick up as Carl reaches for the door, imagining John, running out of the darkness, knife in hand. Very slowly, Carl twists the knob and pushes open the door. Thanks to the well-oiled hinges, it makes hardly a sound as it slowly swings open. We're met with darkness, aside from a few LEDs from the TV set. Carl leans close to my ear.
At least the power's still on. I'm gonna try the landline first.
I nod as Carl and I step over the foundation and into the house. I'm happy to see that Carl's kitchen looks just like Carl's kitchen. Despite the terrifying atmosphere, there's a relief that comes with knowing that we've broken free of the nightmare, whatever that was. Just then, a distant soft pop echoes through the town. We both look back for a moment, and I remember the sound I heard while running through Pueblo. Had someone shot at me? I don't have long to dwell on that as Carl tugs me into the kitchen, purposely leaving the door open behind us. He's probably more worried about what might be in the house rather than what's far away in the town. The ram reaches for the light switch, then thinks better of it. He leaves me to lean against the counter before moving to the phone. I look around, noticing the table set with a few plates with what looks like squares of drywall on them. In fact, the whole table is covered in dust that probably came from the crawl space. I frown at that before noticing a clear cup on the counter full of some kind of yellow liquid. At the same time, I see a piece of paper laying next to me, standing out on the spotless counter. I reach out, pressing a hand over it, and feeling the smooth piece of paper, its size and shape familiar. I pick it up, looking around for a light source before seeing the fridge and hobbling over to it.
Line's dead. What are you doing, dude?
I open the fridge, letting the dim yellow light spill out. I hold up the paper, which seems to be a copy of a newspaper clipping. This is the photocopy from the cabin. I whisper loudly. Masetta boy missing. Native settler tensions rise. Fifth native boy goes missing in 2 years. Native chief says disappearances did not happen until settlers arrived. James Hendricks has been confined in the county jail pending further evidence. I look up at Carl. Wait, so was it James that was kidnapping children? Carl shrugs at me.
I really don't know, man. And I don't think it matters right now.
He did have a point considering we weren't trapped in the nightmare anymore, though I still feel like something is missing. Yeah, you're right. I fold up and shove the paper into my pockets anyway.
So the phone's dead. I think we should just grab the keys and...
Carl's ears prick up. I'd do the same with mine if I could.
You hear that?
No? Carl moves to the stairs.
Stay here. I'll be right back.
I shout whisper. What?
I'll be right back. I think I hear Raven.
I bite my lip. This new boost of confidence that Carl's gotten is great and all, but his hero's complex is about to get him killed. I follow the ram to the top of the stairs, watching him, about to start downwards before jabbing him with the back of my knuckles. I look back into the almost as dark kitchen before making up my mind and hopping down the stairs after the ram. He jumps.
Holy shit, you scared the hell out of me.
Carl also shout whispers. Well, fuck you for thinking of leaving me up there. I told you outside, we're sticking together.
Okay. Just hold on to my shirt or something.
Okay. With that, Carl starts making his way down the stairs with me limping behind. Slowly but surely, I start to hear something too. It's muffled and quiet. It sounds very much like a voice. The voice is calm and reasonable, and I'm pretty sure it's Raven's. Carl stops next to a door on our left where the voice seems to be coming from. Wait, maybe I should open it? If Jenna's in there, it's not like she's going after me, right? Carl seems to hesitate in the darkness.
I don't know, man.
Don't worry. You'll be right next to me, right? There's a moment of silence again before Carl shifts next to me to the side of the door.
Alright, but get behind me if she goes after you.
I nod as well, even if he can't see me. I take a breath, steeling myself for what might be behind the door. Slowly, I push it open. It's also dark in this room. The weight room, I realize. The talking all stops immediately before it turns into a whine. So, should I be Raven?
I mean, if you want to.
Or do you want to be Raven, Sam?
I
wait,
could.
Harry, are you back?
I am. I've been back. I just didn't want to interrupt you guys.
Ah, okay, cool. You can be Raven then, Harry.
Coolio. I've never done a nervous voice. Oh my god. The door opened by itself. This is insane.
I feel for the light switch next to the door and flip it on. There sits Raven, tied to a weight machine with what looks like several pieces of clothing. A few pieces of paper sit on his lap and on the ground. The husky is staring right at me, but there's no sign of recognition in his face. There's no sign of Jenna either, thank God. Raven?
Oh, God, it knows my name!
Raven starts writhing around in his bonds.
Mr. Ghost Thing, what do you want from me? Do you want my money? Honestly, I don't have any. But I work at a mall, so...
Carl pokes his head in too,
Hey, Raven, can you hear me?
but Raven keeps babbling on about his job. Carl
And-
frowns and shifts past me into the room. Go ahead, go for it.
So we're like, and then my manager said that I can't have next week off, but I really wanted to just go and buy the new video game. Please don't kill me. I still haven't gotten to play Elder Scrolls 6 yet. It only comes out next year.
God, I wish. Unfortunately, this is still 2015, so
Oh,
it's
God.
gonna be a long time before Elder Scrolls 6.
I was expecting anything.
He's right, kill him now.
I still haven't played Fortnite.
Oh, God.
I knew Mom was right when I decided that when she said that working at Hot Topic was a bad idea. I should have been a gamer at GameStop.
Haha, because that won't go wrong.
Carl frowns and shifts past me into the room. I stand in the doorway, looking back into the hall, but only seeing darkness. Raven's still chattering when Carl reaches out, resting a hand on his shoulder. The shriek that Raven lets out makes my fur stand on end.
I'm not going to do that. There's people sleeping in my
You
house.
don't. You just have to say the "oh my god" thing.
Oh my god, please, please. Elder Scrolls 5 is such a good game.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
I could play it again and again and again and again for the next, 6, 7 years at least.
Shut up, you damn hussy.
Carl presses a hand into the husky's mouth, muffling his nose just a bit. But that's when Raven's eyes widen. Raven?
Sebastian?
No, that'd be
Seb-
Harry.
Oh, he muted.
Harry.
Sorry.
Oh.
God fucking damn it.
You gotta remember friend's name, Sam.
Look, there's a lot
Sorry.
of you.
Sorry, I was just approached saying I have to go buy a pizza. Give me a second.
Okay then. I can take over for you for a little bit.
Yep.
Whoa! Hey, Carl. He stares around wide-eyed. Wow, where am I?
In my house. In my weight room. Are you okay?
The husky looks at Carl again. What? How? Carl shrugs.
We have no idea.
I look back into the hallway to make sure Jenna isn't coming after all that shrieking, then look back at the other two. So, it's that easy? We just had to touch him? Carl turns to me.
I guess. It's like it really is just a dream or something.
Hey, Chase. Raven is craning his head around Carl now. Hey, Raven. Raven stares around the room again. Wow, just a second ago, I was in a really fancy-looking bedroom. It had a bed with curtains on it and stuff.
Raven, how'd you get tied up?
Oh, Jenna, of course. Actually, she calmed down a bit and I brought her to the house, but then she punched me.
Well,
Raven sets to untying the husky while Carl sets to untying the husky while Raven rubs the back of his head against the weight machine. And I fell down the stairs and she dragged me into the room and tied me up.
kinky.
I told her I wasn't really that into BDSM, but she didn't really seem to be listening. Raven smiles sheepishly. Honestly, I probably could have fought her off. But facing a tiny, maybe a serial killer girl with a knife is kind of scary, so I just did what she told me. That's okay. Do you, know where she is now?
Alright, I'm back, but I am gonna have to leave in like 10 minutes to go pick up a pizza.
Oh, okay then. Feel free to join us back when you get your pizza.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna stick around until I leave, but...
Okay then. I glance back into the hallway. Still, nothing.
No, she went back out. She did come back like 10 minutes ago, though, and shoved these papers into my face.
Raven points at the papers in his lap and on the ground with a free hand. Carl starts untying the binds around his legs.
She said something about these being real letters, the truth or whatever.
I limp into the room, partly because I don't want to get caught by Jenna if she suddenly comes in, and also because I want to look at the two letters. They're short. One of them is about a paragraph. The other is only a few words. Because it's second nature now, I pick up the longer one and read aloud. I don't know what to say after finding your dungeon. No, there are no other words for it. James, it is a dungeon. Hey, somebody just joined.
Yeah,
It's
baby,
us.
BJ and Hannah.
It's
Huh.
a while, Hannah and DJ.
We're finishing up Carl's route with or without you.
I mean, that's fair. We were running 2 hours late. Although it makes me sad. If you don't mind taking a second to summarize, I'd appreciate it. Otherwise,
So they headed back to the mansion and found Raven tied up in the gym room.
oh, shit.
They touched Raven by putting a hand on his shoulder, and suddenly he's no longer in the vision of the manor. He's now back in reality.
Snap back to reality.
Wait,
Nope,
Raven
paper,
is in
gravity.
reality, but he's here right now.
Yes, this is all reality right now. Carl
Oh.
and Chase were in reality as well. Remember last time?
So now all of us except for Jenna are in reality.
Yes.
Got it. So last time they
Technically-
died and went into reality...
What? No one died.
Well, no. In the bad playthrough. In the bad idea
Oh.
playthrough.
Well, yeah, that's when Chase gets stabbed. That's when he gets woken up from the dream, because it's a dreamlike state that they're all in. And because he gets woken up, no one who's still in the dreamlike state can see him. So that's why they're like, "Where is Chase? Where'd Chase go?" And they can see the blood that was left by him until it disappears as well, because that doesn't fit the dreams theme. So that's why Chase disappeared in that one, and they couldn't see him. Because
And
Chase
I see-
getting stabbed really will wake you the fuck up.
And Carl still has blood on his shirt. I know.
Well, yeah, that's because he got punched out by Jenna earlier, remember?
Yeah, no. So wounds still apply, but they're back in the real world.
Yes. And after finding the boy's body, finding out what you'd done to
And
him.
again, sorry for being late, you guys. When we're not recording, I'll tell you why.
Okay. And after
Hope it
finding...
wasn't anything too bad.
Oh no, it's lovely. It's actually it was fun. We were excited for a couple of friends of ours.
Oh, good.
But yeah,
Oh, by the way, there's more evidence towards maybe it was Carl's ancestor who was the serial killer and not Jenna's ancestor.
oh yeah, I was
So-
getting that.
Yeah. So here was...
I pretty much even on the first playthrough, it seemed that Jenna's ancestor, while malicious, notice how she's only malicious towards Carl.
Mhm.
And so it seemed very much so like, oh yeah, her ancestor is not the bad guy here. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what, I was getting that vibe. I'm not sure why I was getting that vibe. I don't have any really good evidence to support it. So much
Because
as
you metagamed.
I did a little bit. I just was getting this buzz that the bad guy was trying to really steer us down a certain thing, and the other person was they weren't getting, like, murderous, except for at that one scene. I guess they kind of do straight up try to murder Carl. And they are possessing Jenna, so they're not great.
Mhm.
But, like, it seems pretty clear that they want justice more than murder, and I can't quite piece together why, but that was the vibe I was getting. All right, I'm going to let you guys continue playing. I'm so sorry that I like that.
Okay.
We're 2 hours late, and I'm like, yeah, could you fill me in on everything I've missed, please? I say, please stop playing for me. I'm important. They're in reality. Jenna's still in the dream world.
Hey, don't
Um,
worry. In 10 minutes, you can take back over your character.
Yes. Yay. I'll let you play him for now. I think actually your voice fits him quite well.
So Jenna's
They're in reality.
dream world.
My character, who is not my character right now. what's his name? What is my name? Raven. Raven was tied up, and they touched Raven, and then bam, they're back in the real world.
Huh. Okay.
Which is that and they're in Carl's house, as you can see. Jenna is still in the dream world, and they can't see her anywhere.
Yeah, they should be able to see her if they run into her, because it's everyone who's in the manor, like the old mansion thing, are in a dreamlike state. The real world can still affect them, but they can't interact with the real world because they can't see it. They can't engage with it.
So they can try to save Jenna, but she can't try to save them. Got it. That makes sense.
Theoretically. However, we're not really dealing with Jenna. We're dealing with John, who is possessed.
Who is possessing her, yeah.
And there's further evidence to support that Carl's ancestor is an asshole. Jenna's ancestor is seeking justice.
Gotcha.
Because he was accused of Carl's ancestors' crimes, theoretically, if that is what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He, like the ginger, his crimes are only theoretical, for people who understand that reference.
I do know the gingers have no soul reference. I'm not sure about crimes are theoretical.
Have you ever watched Letterkenny?
No.
It's
Sorry.
a Hulu comedy show. I highly recommend it. It's amazing. But there's a running joke about there's a guy named the Ginger who had sex with an ostrich. Allegedly.
What?
Oh my.
Allegedly. Because it would take at least more than one person to do that. So allegedly he did it. But everybody is afraid of him. That is why the most like game-changing thing you can do is bring the Ginger to a fight. But every time he's in a fight, people are terrified of him, but he doesn't do anything. He just sits there with glasses on with his arms folded, and he doesn't talk. But people are like, you brought the Ginger? You know he had sex with an ostrich, right? Allegedly. I don't know if I want to be a part of this fight.
Beautiful.
It's such a funny joke. I love that show so much.
All right, we're tapping into the recording. We're going to be recording on our end now.
Okay.
Hi. Late. Hi.
Here's us 2 hours late.
I think they've only been running this for like, what, 30 minutes though, right?
Yeah. Around like
not even,
around like the 8:45 mark, we just said screw it, we're going to start recording.
I appreciate that, and I apologize.
All right. And after finding the boy's body, finding out what you've done to it, there are truly no words, James. I only know why you were never satisfied with me. Oh, I only know now why you were never satisfied with me. All of your sweet words have turned to poison. I'm leaving you to the law and leaving this wretched town behind. I only hope that God has no mercy for your soul.
Whoa.
I pick up the other letter, placing it over the first. You are disgusting. I don't have James's letters, so I have no idea what John was responding to. I also don't know who to believe anymore. John or James, or even the thing they were talking about, could alter the notes left around in that dreamscape. There's no way I can even begin to piece together who was manipulating what. But maybe because I'm in the real world now, and this certainly is real, this could be the actual truth. I also noticed the collection of dust on these photocopy pages, taken from the scrapbook and stashed somewhere, probably the crawl space considering the state they're in. Is Jenna in the crawl space right now, searching for letters? Raven finally pulls his feet out from the ropes, rubbing his arms. He nods at me.
So who's going to read this?
Said she wrote that one in jail after James had written to him. I gotta say, since that whole knife thing, it seems like she doesn't know who she is.
I fold up the letters, putting them in my pocket with the news article.
I mean, she keeps on going about James and the letters.
Did she say anything else about the letters? Raven frowns, looking at the ceiling.
She said something about not being able to finish the game because one of them burned and the other one got eaten. That's a weird side quest I've ever seen.
You know, I mean, you keep talking about the Elder Scrolls, but I mean, if that's what's in the Elder Scrolls, I don't know if that game's really for me.
It's a good game, just saying.
I'm sure it's at least better than WoW.
I had a friend who was ranked like 10th in WoW.
Now I have to
Worldwide.
debate who in like the EchoCast is on the side of the Horde and who's on the side of the Alliance. I put a hand on my pocket. Well, I found the one that burned on the counter upstairs. I don't think it burned. We just saw it burn. I think to the tree outside in front of the house, but Carl shakes his head.
It doesn't really matter that we're free of this shit. Let's find the keys and get the hell out.
Carl starts on the last restraints around Raven's ankles. I get up and limp to the doorway again, looking out towards the crawl space. In that moment, I hear a whisper of movement down the hall. I limp out a bit more, watching his 2 tall ears slowly materialize out of the darkness. For a moment, I see a young male fox in overalls in front of me. But that imagery dissolves as Jenna is slowly lit up by the light coming from the weight room. She's covered in the dust from the crawl space. I'm startled, but I'm not scared because I know she can't see me. At least, she shouldn't be able to see me. Her piercing eyes are right on me. She can see me. Maybe it's the fact that it's not Jenna at all. Maybe it's because she's completely possessed and it's John looking through her eyes.
Alright, I gotta go.
Alright, have a good night.
Alright.
Good night.
Whatever it is, she can see me, that's clear, because she immediately raises the knife and bares her teeth at me.
Oh no.
I don't want the others getting caught by her, especially with Raven tied up like that. I need to give Carl or I the chance to attack from behind, depending on if she goes for me or takes a turn into the weight room. She's coming! I back out into the hallway and away from Jenna, hoping to give one of us the advantage. But she's coming so fast.
Otter, you're in on it with James, huh?
Her voice, rough and deep, unlike anything I'd heard from Jenna before. I realize then that there's no waking Jenna up from this. It's not Jenna anymore, and John sure as hell isn't waking up. John lunges and I turn and run. The fox doesn't even glance into the weight room as he comes for me. I limp and leap through the darkness, left hand stretched out, desperately feeling for the end of the wall that will signify the stairs. I hear the fox breathing behind me, bumping into the walls. Finally, my hand falls through nothing, and I turn sharply to run up the stairs. As I stumble upwards, I start to wonder what the hell I'm going to do. While I could try and go for a bathroom and lock the door, that doesn't exactly help Carl out. I can't stop thinking about the newspaper clipping that John's hanging corpse ate. If I can get that, get all the pieces that it wants us to get, then maybe I can end whatever this is. My thoughts are interrupted as something cold goes down my back, followed by an even colder pain, just to the right of my spine. I gasp as I've fallen into water, but continue dead upwards. I can hear Carl shouting too at the base of the stairs. Alright, so the music in this is a little too loud.
Did she just stab him?
It sounds
yes.
Sounds like kind of from Danganronpa, if I can make that argument. The music.
Jenna, you jerk.
Remember, that's not Jenna, that's John.
No, I was just giving Hannah a glance.
Well, if you're gonna do that, you gotta look at Hannah and go, Jonna.
Jenna, you jerk. John Anna.
I can hear Carl shouting too at the base of the stairs. There's too much distance between me and him for the ram to be of any help. As I reach the top of the stairs, there's a loud thwonk sound to the left of my head as I stumble into the kitchen. A quick glance over my shoulder and I see John yanking the knife from the wall. Almost
Here's
sobbing
Johnny.
now, I jump limp my way to the front door, hearing John scream curses at me from behind. While I want Carl's help right now, I also don't want him to catch up. I don't want John turning on him. I struggle with the door for a moment, for some reason trying to push on it rather than pull. It's only a few seconds, but enough for John to gain on me and swing the knife again as I pull open the door. I scream and duck, hearing the metal clang against the door hinge. I lunge forward, out the door, and into the cool of the early morning. The sky is a soft blue as dawn breaks. I limp as fast as I can down the steps, down the driveway, toward the slope past the road, but John catches me again as I'm on the road. This time he grabs my shirt, holding on to me. I turn to face him as he draws the knife back for another swing, but that moment we go over the slope. Even in my adrenaline-fueled state, the fall is painful, and each time I roll, I feel the stab of rocks sticking in my skin. The final bounce has punctuated the blinding pain in my forehead as it collides with a small boulder. I shakily get to my feet, looking left and right for the tree, panicking until I realize it's right in front of me. I stumble right into it, clinging to it. I scan the dirt, but there's nothing, no paper at all. Jenna's getting up, just 5 feet away. I can see blood oozing through several scratches on his body. The knife is still in his hand, and he zeroes in on me again. I cower and move behind the tree, my plan ruined. And that's when my face comes level to a hollow in the tree. Automatically, I reach in, feeling around, feeling mostly spiderwebs and twigs before. Carl appears at the top of the slope.
Hey, stop!
John whirls around, the knife raised as he immediately moves in the other direction. You! My hand finds the corner of the piece of paper and pull out the newspaper clipping. I scan over it. It's another quote from Carl's mother. I begin to read, my voice cracking as I manage to shout. But I was able to open a lockbox kept by James himself. It was full of jail letters between him and John. John freezes in his steps, knife still raised, looking up at Carl. I don't want to sully Hendricks' name, but if what John said is true, James framed him of the most heinous crime in Echo's history. In the meantime, Carl stumbles down the slope, moving carefully around the fox to stand next to me. I reach into my pocket and pull out the other pieces of paper. I hold them up. John, we know the truth. I'm going to tell everyone in my documentary, okay? I'm a journalist, a reporter. We see the truth. John turns towards me, knife slowly lowering. And just like that, it's not John anymore. It's Jenna. The knife clatters to the rocks. Carl reaches out to hold me, and I collapse against him, everything numb. Jenna's hands go to her mouth, staring at the knife, staring at me and Carl, before she screams. In the distance, I can hear sirens. Is history subjective in nature? The story of James and John sure seems to be. All we have are a few written letters, and from these we must draw some sort of conclusion. In the end, it can't really be said what exactly happened almost 150 years ago. Instead, we can only provide the facts. Several native children went missing. James was accused of the crime before claiming that his secret lover John was the culprit. In his jail letters, Jonathan claims that he was framed by James. Because of the vigilante justice dealt out by the town, John never had a trial, and no record of the evidence collected exists. James, because of his influence, was allowed to leave and live hundreds of miles away on the west coast, where he eventually died. He never wrote of the incident again. Many believe that, as journalists, we're supposed to be unbiased and only state facts. That's not exactly true, as long as it's clear that we're stating an opinion. So I'd like to do that now. In my opinion, John is innocent. We should be presumed innocent until proven guilty after all, and John has never even had that chance. According to accounts written by other townspeople, James was a deceitful and emotionally manipulative man. There are many accounts of his prejudices against the native people. In the end, the records that exist of John give us no reason to disbelieve him, while James has given us every reason to doubt him. But because time is evidence's worst enemy, it has been 150 years, the definite answer will likely never be known. Like much of Echo, the story is lost to time. I'm Chase Hunter at Pueblo University, and this has been a special report on the town of Echo. I look over the report again, eyes stinging from staring at a monitor for too long. I'm a terrible writer, and the words on the script seem so clumsy. I shrug, and decide I'll have time tomorrow to polish it up a bit. It's weird, writing the last word to a script I started almost 1.5 years ago. It's changed a lot since then, moving from a focus on hysteria to an old mansion mystery. My mind wanders back to the spring break My mind wanders back to that spring break in Echo. I still shake my head when I think about it, how it completely shattered my view on reality, my view on life. Of course, I couldn't come back to school right afterwards. I hadn't finished my project after all. Actually, I needed therapy.
You think?
We all did. Except Carl. He seemed to have come out of it better than he had been going into it, somehow. Everyone handles trauma differently, Jenna would say. In fact, she has a lot of things to say about what happened.
I'm sure she does.
While she didn't come out as unscathed as Carl, she's still tougher than me, and actually went right back to school that summer. Now she's at Weston, and a lot of her research is focused on foil de gras, or ado, foil ado, or shared psychosis. Because of how everything went down, the things we felt, and what we saw, Jenna's convinced that's what took place. She brought up the way we primed each other to hear and see things. The way the things we saw didn't seem to have any rhyme or reason for what they were. While I do believe a lot of what we saw came from ourselves, I'm not fully convinced that explains all of it. Mainly because the rest of the townspeople went through their own nightmare that night. I still can't believe the things that Leo and TJ went through. Still, I'm glad she found a way to explain it to herself. She told me over the phone just last week that she hasn't forgiven herself. That she should have been stronger than that. I told her over and over that it's not her fault. But I guess after coming to with a knife in her hand and her friend stabbed, it left an impression. I rest my hand on the thick scar through my shirt that runs all the way down my back and wiggle the ankle that causes me a permanent limp. Still, this whole instant, it actually brought us closer. At least for Jenna, Carl, and I. Hell, even Raven.
I was gonna say, hey, hold on. I was there too.
Well, hey, it's not all a good ending. It's still painful to think about how Flynn, Leo, and TJ, poor TJ, aren't really talking anymore.
I'm just talking to my kids.
TJ just decided to put himself in a convent, but a cat-based convent.
Oh my god, I would go to that. I mean, I wouldn't because I'm happily married, but I would.
Probably one for dogs.
Yes, probably dogs, not cats. That actually exists. There's a Franciscan convent that runs a town shelter and stuff. Yeah.
Ah.
I just want to go to the island where they have cats roaming everywhere. And I'm like, yes.
Ah, so there's 2 islands that I can't go to without being killed.
What's the other one?
There's literally an island off of Africa that you're not supposed to go onto because the native tribe has been left alone. And literally anyone who goes there gets killed by the tribe, typically.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I guess it's the fact that we went through completely different things during the incident. Of course, we told the police that it was someone else that stabbed me when the town descended into madness. Echo, a name now famous worldwide after the mass hysteria incident that truly brought a tying town to its ultimate end. Blech. It's hard to speak all these lines. At least in terms of being a failed town. While no one really lives there now, it's certainly become a tourist attraction.
Or arches.
Countless news reporters, TV shows, and paranormal investigators descended on the area.
Like arches.
Especially when news stories changed from killing spree leaves 9 dead to whole town went nuts. Luckily, not a lot of focus fell on us since we weren't exactly living in Echo anymore. We just got into the ambulances and left. Carl, on the other hand, along with the rest of his family, are still harassed by the media. Carl's mom is a pro at handling the media, though. I still wonder what exactly it was that stopped her from publishing all of her findings. I'll have to ask her sometimes, considering I'm practically family due to how much I visit with Carl. In the end, the relationship I had with Carl in that dreamscape didn't exactly survive in the real world.
Good.
Carl told me he didn't know where he ended and James began, even when he rejected James's influence. We couldn't really trust anything that happened there. But still, he's my best friend, and I plan to spend the summer at his house when I start my next project on Echo. Yeah, I realize there's a lot more stories to cover over there, and I plan to uncover them. It's almost healing going back now without any fear. My own little therapy. Guess I always end up going back there eventually. The sound of clops to my right makes me look up, just as a bulky ram fills the frame of the doorway. Carl leans against it, rolling his eyes.
Dude, you told me you were gonna work on that tomorrow.
I smile and rest my chin in my palm. Was just giving it a quick once over before we film.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, I'm going for some pizza. You coming?
I'm not really hungry, but taking my mind off Echo for just a little bit doesn't sound good. Carl always cheered me up anyway.
Aww.
I nod over at the corner of our dorm room, where Carl's papier-mâché sculpture of a tortured-looking bird sits. Don't you have to finish that thing by tomorrow? Carl shrugs.
I got like 3 energy drinks in the fridge, all G Fuel. Don't worry about it. I'll be good. Come on, let's us going. I want to meet Caitlin there too.
Really, G Fuel? Like, wouldn't Monster be better, man?
Oh hell no, G Fuel's a lot tastier.
Ha.
Doesn't taste like cough syrup.
That's fair.
I get up slowly, stretching out my back. Oh, I see. So I'm just your wingman. Carl
Damn
smirks.
right.
I mean, gay dude wingmen are usually pretty good wingmen.
It's not like that, dude. Maybe it is. I just like hang out with them. Now let's go.
Carl hangs on to the frame, starting to swing himself out into the hall. Hey, Carl? Carl rebounds back to the room, leaning in towards me.
Yo.
Thanks for being my friend. I don't know if it was all the reminiscing about what happened that spring before last, or if I'm still not over what happened, but Carl seems to understand. He smiles and reaches out a big hand towards me, which I grasp.
Of course, man. And if you need to talk or something, I'm here. Do you want to talk right now?
I shake my head quickly. Nah, I'm good. Just wanted to say it. Carl smiles.
Well, thanks for saying it. Now let's go.
Carl again swings on the frame and out into the hall. There's some loud clapping before I hear him shouting at someone and giving them what sounds like a high five. I smile to myself as I look at the document on the screen one last time, before closing the laptop and following Carl out into the hallway. There we go. We are done with Carl's route, finally.
That was actually
Yay.
super satisfying.
Yeah, and Carl actually
wasn't
gets
bad.
a chance. He gets the chance to do what he likes.
He's like he's in college and like he's still him, right? He's still like, yeah, no, let's go get pizza.
And yeah,
But he's
he does
like-
extra drinks.
But he's also like a constructive version of him. If that judgment call makes any sense, like that is super judgy of me to say. But like he's still chill, he's still like fun. And I'm also really happy that they didn't go, yeah, horror relationship. Let's build that. Right? Like they're like, yeah, horror relationship. We've been through trauma together, but we probably shouldn't date. Right? Like I love that.
Yeah,
Right?
this-
Because honestly, they've been through trauma together. He's better, and like we're led to believe he's better friends with Jenna now as well because he's texting her, whereas they
So-
hadn't seen each other till before too.
Yeah, like one of the things that's interesting about this ending, so this is one of the only 3 good endings in the game. All the other ones are either bad or neutral in my opinion. With this one, it's interesting because it's a good ending, but it's not a good ending for the entire cast. It's only
Nope.
a good
Yeah.
ending really for the main characters of this route, which was Carl, Jenna, Chase, and Raven.
I mean, I don't know what happened to Leo, but he'd be real happy that Chase keeps coming back to Echo.
Probably not. Because it sounds like, honestly, that Leo, TJ, and Flynn are no longer part of the friend group.
Yes. And actually, it seems like for all the shit that went down for Paul and Jenna...
something? Why are they no longer part of the friend group?
Oh, who was
We
asking
don't
that
know.
question?
Me, Harrison.
Oh, I didn't even know you were still here.
No, I said I was leaving to get pizza. I was gonna come back.
Oh,
God,
we just
I'm so...
we just heard you say like
just get rid of me then.
no. We just heard you needed to go, and we had no idea. It's like at least we didn't have any context.
Yeah.
We just assume, oh, you're gonna be heading out soon.
And that's probably what the frame it will end on, is the two of them happily chilling out together.
Oh, it will. But
That's
yeah.
cute. Yeah, no, I guess I wasn't thinking about that. It said TJ, comma, poor TJ.
Yeah.
And then it also said 9 dead. So,
yes, so that
some shit went down.
Yes, so multiple people do die, and we'll see some of those deaths in the other routes, but I will also point out, while Chase was wandering the town, he did even see Duke's dead body. So you remember Duke, right?
Yeah.
So he saw Duke lying dead in the street outside Carl's house.
Duke is Leo's...
Yeah.
Is Leo's, like, nemesis, right?
No, you're thinking of Clint.
Oh, Duke is Leo's next door neighbor.
Kind of. Technically, Kudzu's Leo's next door neighbor.
Yeah,
Duke lives
Kudzu's
nearby, but he's not technically Leo's neighbor. At least not like
Where do
next
I know
door.
Duke?
It's like a down the street type of neighbor.
I really hope that Duke is a weasel on purpose.
He is.
Okay, good.
But this was, remember, written back in 2015. This is before... well, actually, no, I guess it is after Frozen.
Yep.
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 Is it after Zootopia?
No, it's before Zootopia. Zootopia was 2016.
Whoa. So either it was their own joke, or they didn't think about it. It fits the character anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is beautiful.
Well, actually, you want to know something really crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Duke is actually a descendant from Cliff from the Smoke Room.
Nice.
Similar to how William from the Smoke Room is the grandfather or great-grandfather of Janice from Echo.
Huh.
Nice. Wait, who's the grandfather of Janice?
William. Is he
Yeah,
the
the sheriff. Yep, the sheriff
Nice.
is William.
Yeah, so 9 dead means that I feel like we're gonna...
Who is the descendant of William?
Janice, the lady who works at the diner.
Oh, right. Who was I gonna ask? What happened to why is TJ and them not a part of the friend group anymore?
So whatever TJ, Leo, and Flynn experienced during the hysteria, it was so traumatizing for them, and they didn't have any of the other people in the friend group to help support them throughout it. So it left them just honestly traumatized by the end. While Carl, Jenna, and Chase had themselves and Raven to support each other, and so it made their bonds get stronger. But since the other three weren't there, they grew more distant instead.
Now, you know what was never explained, and I assume it will be in other routes? Their friend who died in the water.
Sydney.
Ah, yes.
Like, that was like a really big event.
Explained in?
There are a lot of, like, untied... So, like, the first half of the game was building up to stuff. Like, hey, there are some problems here. And then suddenly we're talking about James and John that we hadn't learned about at all before this point.
So
in that way, it was mildly disappointing.
I want to point this out real quick about Sydney. Sydney is actually further explored in TJ or Flynn's route, depending on which one you want to go down, and it's explored in different ways on those two routes. And the reason why is, if you remember, when like all the group of friends are having the biggest fight about that, it's Flynn and TJ who seem to be the most connected to that.
Yeah, because TJ was the one who was closest to him whenever he drowned.
Yeah, TJ saw it, while Flynn was Sydney's best friend.
Best friend, yes.
Yeah, and you said Carl's route is the one that kind of feels like the most of an introduction, so to speak.
It's
because...
the one... So my way of stating it is Carl's is the one that is very obviously like the first draft. They wrote this one first. If I was to introduce someone to Echo, which Harry can now attest to, I would actually recommend they play Leo's route if they want to be sold on the game.
Okay. Because I was going to say, for me, it felt like we were building a narrative, and then the narrative kind of disappeared, if that makes sense. Right, like, because we're building up this, so we're like, hey, there's this friend group. Hey, this friend group has a major trauma that they can't get over, and that makes them split. Cool. Then Leo, who's desperately trying to keep them all together, pulls them all back together. They have a cute moment, and then really split. And then you're just hanging out. Then you're just hanging out with Carl, and then suddenly there's this weird thing with John and James that happened like 100 years ago. I'm not complaining because honestly, I found the end satisfying, and I found your relationship with Carl really satisfying, and I found even like when Jenna randomly pops in, you're like, oh, okay, actually that works.
They also foreshadowed that Jenna was going to be important in that route.
Yeah, because I remember when Jenna was getting pissed at him at the birthday. It's like, oh wait, that water thing doesn't happen in this route, does it?
Which water thing?
The second time they go to the water, I'm thinking of a different route. That only happens
to the lake. No, that's Carl's route. That's how it kicks off.
Okay. Yeah, so as I said, it feels like they're, and I'm not complaining because it still felt like a satisfying narrative, but it did kind of feel like
there were a lot of loose ties that were left untied.
So there were a lot of Chekhov's guns.
So I will say this as well.
This
is a game that you really need to play all the routes for. If you don't play all the routes, you're not going to get all the answers.
Okay, that makes sense.
The best way I can explain it to answer your question is, this game sets up an overarching story. However, only certain parts of that story is important to certain people. And they simply just do not care about the rest of the story. So when Chase follows them, he only gets their importance. Like Carl doesn't care at all about Sydney in any significant way that affects him. Not like it does to TJ and Flynn.
Yeah, actually, I can give a good example of that. So with Sydney is honestly just a bad memory for Carl, to the point where the only time Sydney's referenced after the lake was when they were watching those old tapes, and Sydney pops up on screen, and you see Carl's dad say, oh, damn, it's the stupid Mormon kid again.
Yeah.
And that's the last time they talk about Sydney.
And then along those same lines, Carl, that's part of the reason why Jenna's route is going to be so important. Because she keeps everyone together.
No, Jenna does not.
I would honestly argue that Chase is the glue here.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's my view on it as well.
Well, what you meant is, what I mean is, Chase is the glue, right?
Yes.
But Jenna's like, oh yeah, we need to hang out with, she makes sure he hangs out with each of them.
Yes, but that's not really like her really doing it. It's just more, hey, I'm gonna make you adult, Chase. You need to adult now. You're 21. Be an adult.
That makes sense. And I feel like Leo's route is gonna play a lot into that whole.
Well, if we wrap up this recording soon, we could actually do a little bit more of Leo's route right now.
Yeah.
And I got excited.
What time is it?
It's only 9:30ish.
Leo's route, in my opinion, is very good. It's a very good route. It's very entertaining.
I'm gonna need to refine my Leo voice. I should replay an old Leo recording.
How do I put this? Leo's route makes... I want to say that Flynn and TJ's route are my favorite, but I can't say that because it was Leo's route that made me so terrified in both of those other routes. That's the best way I can explain it. Alan says you should play TJ then Flynn's. I would argue you play Flynn's and then TJ's. Granted, I haven't watched all of Flynn's route, but
I get where you're coming from with that, because there's a twist at the end of TJ's route that kind of makes Flynn's a little bit more anticlimactic in a way.
Not just that, from what I know, Leo and Flynn's route is so much more terrifying because of the fact that you know what he does and how he acts in his own route and how he can be. And in the same instance, it makes you so much more terrified of Chase when and how he acts in TJ's route, because you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We can't say it without spoiling it. 'Cause
Yeah.
honestly, I think
That's
out of
fair.
all the routes, the one that we're furthest back in is maybe TJ or it's Flynn. One of the two.
TJ, Flynn actually, because we had Flynn's Tuesday. We're like, this guy's a dick. We're done with him.
You're right. We have not
Yeah.
gone further into Flynn, so yeah.
And I'm assuming
Which
you
he
guys
is.
have
I
done
100% agree. He's not...
Like,
And I'm assuming you guys have done more with TJ that we haven't been there for.
Very, very
right?
little, honestly. Like, I just know we've gotten through Tuesday. I don't know if we've even hit...
We were there for
no,
Tuesday.
We did
Are we
do
there?
Wednesday, too. We did Wednesday as well.
okay, so we've missed TJ's Wednesday. That's it.
I think.
I
had to double check.
There's a piece of me that almost wants to download the game and kind of quickly go through, because I'm really curious about TJ's route, because TJ's like the quiet, well, not
TJ's
the mild-mannered Christian kid.
TJ is a character I relate to most of all of them, I would say.
So, my stance on that is definitely save TJ for after Leo.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Again, though, I would argue to want to go through Flynn's route first before TJ's.
The thing is, my stance on the routes is honestly you could flip Carl and Leo depending on whether or not you really need to be sold on the game. If you need to be sold on the game, Leo first. If you don't need to, Carl first. For when it comes to TJ and Flynn, though, really it could be in either order depending on how you want to do things. For me, I usually prefer the release order, so that's why I usually say TJ before Flynn. Though, honestly, you could switch them around. Jenna, though, has to be last.
Yep. Granted, or you can do what I do and just play Leo's route, skip Chug's route, and then play...
Skip Chug Carl, is that what you're saying?
Yep. Chug has no love in my heart. Sorry.
I actually liked Carl's route. I found it very satisfying. I found Carl's growth as a person satisfying, because right before the event, right, we're seeing him, he's trying to kind of like put stuff together, but he has to give up himself to do it, and it was awful. Whereas, and at the end of the route, we get to see Carl being Carl, but happy with who he is as Carl.
Like he gets to be well, I'm assuming they're roommates.
Yeah, he's rooming.
Roommates with Chase again.
Yeah, and we get to see his friendship with Jenna pay off as well, which is cool. And the fact that they love her enough to they were like, yeah, no, that wasn't you, that was James. Like, there's no beef with her is kind of a nice thing to see.
Done, but yeah.
So this isn't really a spoiler, but when it comes to Flynn's route and watching Flynn do stuff with Carl, you really just get to see him fail at being a friend.
Who, Flynn?
Yes.
Or Carl?
No, Flynn.
Yeah, Flynn's an asshole.
This
is not a surprise.
You can clearly tell that he actually does care about Carl.
I saw that in Carl's route.
You can tell that Flynn really does care about Carl, that he wants Carl to succeed, but he's just so bad.
No, I remember, even in Carl's route, I saw that. I was like, oh yeah. Flynn, it's like, even like in Leo's route, Flynn is like, you're hurting yourself, go away. And TJ's like, yeah, but and not TJ, Chase is like, yeah, but I have a, and Flynn, and he has a, and like, I just want that, right? Like,
yes.
and that's the thing with Flynn. I'll give Flynn this.
I don't even know if I want to censor what you just said, because I feel like it's so much, if I bleep it, it's going to be so much worse.
No, I have a squeak, and he has a squeak. And I just want my squeaky toy, okay?
No, it wasn't even that. And it ended with, and I really want some of that, is what you said.
Yes, I did. But what I enjoy about how this game is written is you see the disaster of Chase and Leo unfolding in Leo's route, and yet you also find it very understandable, right? Mm-hmm. I love that dramatic tension.
I want to circle back to something Harry said earlier. So Harry, you said that in each route, what's focused on is what the people care about in those routes, right?
Yes.
I actually agree with that statement. Because with TJ and Flynn, they both actually do care about what was going on with Sydney. And so that's why those routes really do focus a lot more on that. With Jenna and Leo, those routes do focus on Chase's relationship with Leo as well. While that's not really a focus in TJ or Flynn's routes. It happens a little bit, but it's not the focus anymore. I just want to finish real quick. Carl's route is the most disconnected because Carl is disconnected from either of those two plot lines.
I will also say that if you're confused about why Jenna cares about Chase and Leo's relationship, it's because when you really think about it, she's a hetero surrounded by 5 friends and 3 of them are gay.
Oh, yeah.
So she got the short stick real hard.
Especially because her friend group, Leo and Chase were her 2 oldest friends, with her actually having been friends with Chase first out of everyone.
Yeah, so out of the 2 people that she'd want the most, both of them are like, nah, girl, we got each other, and that's all we need.
Making out noises.
Yep.
Yeah, well, and actually, along those same lines, Leo, no. I had a thought on it, but I lost the thought.
What was the statement of graffiti that was said about, that was seen in, not Pompeii. No, Pompeii. From ancient Rome. About a guy professing he was gay. It was hilarious.
Oh, wow.
He was like, weep, women, for my has found the envy of men's behinds, for you shall never know more. Which, like, you gotta
we
give
just
him.
Broke Alan.
What just happened?
You gotta give him some brass. Not only is he saying I am gay, he's also saying I am so good that you all will forever weep about the fact that I'm gay now.
I'm so good at the sex. I promise. I totally swear, Z's.
It's so funny. I want to see if I can find it. I'm gonna Google it. I remember seeing it one time. It was just like. It was a post somebody made saying humans never change, and it was a bunch of graffiti from Pompeii.
I don't know if we can top that. I think we need to end the episode here.
There we go, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Wait, I want to find the real... post.
Alright, well, anyone have any last thoughts while Harry looks for this graffiti?
I'm looking forward to seeing the other routes play out for what's
I found it.
Especially because with what that was kind of like with Chase, Carl. With Carl, like, his care was more just like, hey, yeah, I kind of want to be with Chase, and I kind of want to do something with my life, but I kind of don't, and I don't know what to do, right? And so we saw that play out. And I look forward to seeing other routes where, like, yeah, Leo, his main thing is he really misses the past and he really misses Chase.
Mm-hmm. And yes, Alan, we did pet our dog.
Yes.
Good.
And with Jenna, it's going to be, I love all of my friends, but I'd like to love them in a way that very few of them can love me. Right?
That's not the main premise of Jenna's route, but we can go with that as what we're saying. Say
goodbye,
everyone.
Wait, no, I found it.
Okay, well, do you want me to, like, switch over to Discord and show it or something?
No, I just posted it so everybody can see it. Weep, you girls. My has given up on you. Now it penetrates men's behinds. Goodbye, wondrous femininity. I love Pompeii so much.
Okay, yeah, we're not topping that. Bye!
Bye.